Recently, a young employee's decision to show up for work late after staying late the previous evening in office has stirred conversation about workplace expectations. It all began when a screenshot of an employee's message was shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, by Ayushi Doshi, an advocate in India. The employee wrote to Doshi and her colleagues stating, and I quote, "I'll be coming tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. because I am currently leaving the office at 8:30 p.m. Now, Doshi shared the screenshot with a caption that I cannot believe my junior sent this to me. The post has since gone viral, with reactions and expectations splitting down to generational lines. Many have applauded the employee, with some saying that their request for a late arrival is about self-care and balancing work commitments without risking burnout. Others point to the toxic culture that expects employees to stay late with little reward. However, not everyone agrees. Some also argue that the workplace expectations must be consistent and that accountability matters regardless of a late night. They suggest that such behavior challenges workplace expectations. So, does this raise valid concerns about the boundaries of a work-life balance, or is it simply about employees fulfilling time-related obligations? Either way, the debate has people reflecting on evolving workplace norms with Gen Zs and how they impact productivity as well as well-being and prioritize their own well-being over workplace expectations. The question, of course, that we're asking at this time is what is the Gen Z attitude to work and how do you interpret it? Is it too casual or are they self-aware? Is it about entitlement at workplace over workplace discipline, or is it about fair treatment and workplace flexibility? Top story at this hour, the debate which was sparked after an advocate, Ayushi Doshi, shared that screenshot. And the question that we're asking here is whether the Gen Z attitude to work is too casual, or do they expect more from workplace vis-a-vis previous generation? A lot of people on social media are divided. Some say that Gen Zs lack respect. Others say that they value their own well-being and therefore put it out clearly and directly for their employee to know what their expectation from their employer is. People are also divided on whether Gen Zs disregard traditional professional boundaries. Some say that they prioritize, in fact, their own work-life balance and the need to attain that work-life balance while not impressing their seniors or their employers. There are arguments that the Gen Z attitude undermines team accountability, while on the other side, a lot of people are now saying on social media that they are continuing to challenge. Gen Zs are challenging outdated norms and expectations. And finally, some believe that this attitude to work is entitled. There is a sense of entitlement over workplace discipline, while others believe that all that Gen Zs are in fact seeking is fair treatment and workplace flexibility. By a young employee's decision, in fact, to show up for work late after staying late in the office the previous evening. And the post has stirred and sparked conversation on social media. It all began when an employee shared this screenshot on your screens. Advocate Ayushi Doshi wrote that she cannot believe that she received this message from her junior. The employee, in fact, wrote that she'll be coming late because left late from office the previous evening. The post since then has now gone viral, with reactions splitting down to what the expectation is from workplace vis-a-vis what Gen Zs are ready to deliver. Now, many have in fact applauded the employee, with some saying that the request for a late arrival is about self-care, while others are pointing out that this is a reflection of what Gen Zs expect. Now remember, a couple of days ago, a similar screenshot was also shared where an employer themselves shared a screenshot of a leave request where a junior employee had requested for leave and in fact said that they will be on leave without any request at all. While the employer was okay with the way the mail was framed, people on LinkedIn and other social media platforms were divided on whether that should be the correct way of applying for a leave. There was no sense of request. It was a clear message that an employee in fact, will be on leave. And we are, of course, discussing what people are suggesting right now, whether Gen Zs are a group of people, a generation of people who are too casual, or whether this is exactly what is needed right now from the current generation to set expectations with vis-a-vis workplace expectations. To discuss that, we have Dr. Rushi. She's a clinical psychologist joining us live on the show. Dr. Rushi, thank you very much for taking time out, ma'am. I think let's begin with the basic here. You are looking at some of these messages which are currently doing the rounds on social media. What are we to make of it as far as the Gen Z attitude to work is concerned? As a psychologist yourself, do you believe that this is a challenge to the established norms and expectations of the society? And if yes, is it good or bad?
See, there is both pros and cons for all the rules and regulations. I think it is important for the employees to understand that the rules and regulations are made for their favor only. No, it is they only who are going to benefit out of that. So it is mandatory for any organization, whether it is organization is governmental or private, that the employees or employer, everyone should adhere to the rules and regulation for the convenient and the smooth functioning of that organization, right? There should be a scope of flexibility also in terms of keeping in mind the mental health and well-being of the people who are working in the organization, but we should not deviate from the rules and regulation, that is for sure. So flexibility in a term, so first thing, what is important for the people to know, to keep a balance in work life balance, that is important. I mean, working on their stress management, time management and all, then I think all these burning issues will not come into the limelight. They are coming only because we are having poor coping to adapt with our personal life as well as with our professional life as well. So the first and foremost thing is to look after ourselves only, about our mental health and well-being, so that we are able to take wise decision. So all our problem solving skills, our decision making with regard to our personal life and professional life, it all depends on our own coping mechanism. So
okay.
I think
Dr. Rishi, therefore I think what you're trying to say, and for the benefit of our viewers, a lot of people of course want to know whether the Gen Z way of dealing with workplace, whether the Gen Z way of dealing with employer is the right way of dealing with employer. I think it's now clear in a way for us to put out there that as opposed to generations prior to Gen Zs are more self-aware of what they need exactly from people. Dr. Rushi?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Dr. Rishi, I think it's important for our viewers to, at this point in time, also try and understand and realize that Gen Zs, in fact, seem to be a generation which is more aware of what they really need from their employer, from their life, from people who work for them and for people they work for.
Yeah, I think these all issues are also happening because of the communication gap also. It is very important for the employers to understand the unmet needs, that what is exactly required by my staff, what are the factors which are going to increase the productivity. So, if we will be too rigid about some rules and regulation, we will not be flexible. So it is going to decrease the productivity of the staff. If you take the example of very few developed countries, other countries also, you will see that there is a culture of, flexibility also, in terms of like, there is some wellness center kind of place in the institute or in the industry where the people can go, there is a coffee lounge, they can go sit, chat, then they will come back to their work. and then obviously it is going to enhance their productivity. Other than that, there should be some smart sort of gaps in the breaks, the short breaks in during the official time as well, so that the employers or the staff, they can feel relaxed. Continuously working on a, nowadays there is so much of screen exposure for
Absolutely.
the people to work, so all
Absolutely.
those factors are impacting the mental health of the people. So that's why there is a lot of disagreement also in the rules regulation made by this. So all those rules regulation should be made well while in consonance with each other. So I think the
Absolutely. Dr.
employers and the
Rishi,
employees
of
they
course,
should sit
there needs
together.
to be a consonance between what the
Yes.
employer wants and what employee can in fact deliver in the long run. Thank you very much for taking time out for joining us on that story.
Thank you.